All right, so welcome to the Buyers Mastermind, where we come together every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. This mastermind is open to anybody and everybody, so regardless of brokerage. So invite your friends. Now, our masterminds are designed to be four things. They're supposed to be positive, actionable, valuable, and engaging. So in order for us to do that, if you're a safe place to do so, please turn on your webcam. That's going to provide a different level of engagement, different environment. It's just so much better. It really is. Now, structure of our mastermind is very simple. The first 15 minutes, we're going to focus on one thing for our buyers. So on Tuesdays, we have our buyer mastermind, which is what you're participating in right now. On Thursdays, it's our sellers mastermind. So our one thing is going to be about 15 minutes or so. And then we're going to open it up to everybody. So this is going to be where you bring forward your challenges that you have in your business. Ideally, it will revolve around buyers, but I'm not going to limit you. We understand that challenges come up to us. It doesn't matter the topic. So we're going to address those the best we can. And then our last 5 minutes, we're going to focus on our commitments. So one of the big things about our masterminds is it's not a listen in and just be done with it. This is more of a commitment to yourself because you invested the time to be here, might as well get something out of it. So for the first 15 minutes, it's actually going to be less than that because my throat's already going. My voice is already going. For our first 15 minutes, we're going to focus on one buyer thing. Now, throughout the Tuesdays, we focus on three different categories. One is either acquiring new buyers, which we did 2 weeks ago. The second category is converting buyers, so working scripts and all that fun stuff, which we did last week. Now this week, it's scaling our business. Now, the reason that I made mention earlier that this is something that gets requested so much is because it actually does get requested a ton. Because we may find ourselves struggling to work with our first client. We may struggle to get from 5 to 10 transactions, from 10 to 20, 30 to 50, whatever the case may be. Everyone has their struggle. You just have to name your struggle. So for our purposes today, what we're going to look at is how do we actually scale? Whether you want to or not, you have to recognize that you have to scale. It doesn't matter how many transactions you have working right now. If you're going to get to that next level, there has to be a level of, the best way that I can put it actually is going to be, you need to fire yourself and hire professionals. If you take nothing else from these next 10 minutes, that's the big takeaway for today. You need to fire yourself and hire professionals. All right. So now I know that sounds a little bit rough, but here's what that means. Let's take an example. A lot of you are getting into YouTube. A lot of you are getting into social media. A lot of you are getting into whatever it happens to be. But let's just stick with YouTube for a quick second. With YouTube, there's so many different components to getting it right. But one of the big things is the editing of your videos. Well, we spend so much time learning how to edit and trying to do the best we can. While that may help your pocketbook for today, it's going to hurt your business in the long term. The reason being is because if you continue the editing of your videos, sure, you're going to save some money this month, but it's time that you took away from prospecting. It's time that you took away from doing something else that's going to bring you an additional client. So what took you 4 hours to do, so 4 hours to edit, you could have easily hired somebody for $30 to do that in 1 hour. Right? So because you were trying to save $30 for that work, if you will, you cost yourself thousands of dollars. So think about it. In real estate, we only have to get, let me rephrase that. In real estate, when you get one thing right, meaning a transaction right, that's $6,000, $10,000, $20,000. So how much is it costing you not firing yourself from being an editor and hiring a professional? Now, that's just one example. There's many different things that we can talk about. We can talk about transaction coordinating, depending on where you're at. If paperwork is not your thing, or follow-up is not your thing, or whatever the case may be, if there's that so much hate and friction that goes into servicing the business once you have it, nothing wrong with that. People have preferences. People would much rather be out there on, on the battlefield and getting clients, all that fun stuff. But if, as a transaction coordinator, as an example, depending on where you're at, it's going to be $200, $300, $400 per file. And you don't pay that until it actually closes, right? So that you can see that particular task of transaction coordinating, you could see that as part of your business or cost of doing business. So the main thing today, as you're looking to scale, is look and see what you've done in the last 10 days. Look and see what you've done in the last 2 weeks, the last month, even yesterday. What did you do? And what can you outsource? What can you hand off to somebody else, whether that's you hiring somebody locally or whether that's you hiring somebody virtually? What can you place in the hands of a professional that most likely can do the job a lot better than you can, because that's what their job is, as opposed to you continuing to do it and hurting your business? Does that make sense? Now, this is something that it took me a long time to figure out. And I was, I'd argue that I still haven't figured it all out. There's some things that I'm doing in my business that I probably shouldn't be doing, with, even though I have plenty of folks to help me out now. But there's that whole, I get in my own way and not either take the time to train somebody to do it, but really just let myself get in the way because I think that I can do it better. Well, most of the time, no, I can't. And that's really how we need to look at our business right now, especially as you're looking to scale. So as a quick reminder, we're looking at scaling. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about acquiring buyers. Last week, we talked about converting buyers. And then today, we're talking about scaling our buyer business. One of the biggest things that I wanted to convey today was getting yourself out of the business in certain respects that you don't need to be in, because it's not the highest and best use of your time. The money that you're saving today, and I'll end with this because I already said it, but the money that you save today is going to cost you thousands of dollars down the road. So that's really all I had. I told you it was going to be less than 15 minutes because I am struggling. Now, for the next part of our mastermind today, this is really where you bring your challenges that you have in your business right now. Prior to us getting started, we talked about the market shifting and all that fun stuff. So feel free to drop it down in the chat, unmute yourself and ask. As a community, we can address it and really help each other. This is a part of the mastermind. What challenges do you have right now in your business that you'd like to bring forth? Now, the one thing that I'll ask is get to the point. Don't ramble like me. So if there's a question, if there's a challenge, unmute yourself and be respectful of everybody else. Don't go for 10 minutes only to self-solve your problem. We're here as a community. So feel free to unmute yourself and bring forth any challenge that you have in your business right now. And we can work on it together as a community.